evening, everyone. Welcome to the Fireside chat. I think the fire is outside, but we're inside of the fire, so this is technically a Fireside chat. Thank you for joining us this evening. I hope you're enjoying the food. The idea of the Fireside chat is meant to be relatively casual. It's really for me to, as a head of school, to provide any sort of information for parents, alumni, and other interested parties about how LFA is doing. So I'm going to say a few words about that, but I think most importantly is an opportunity for everybody to ask me any questions. Right, Fireside chat, kind of dialogue chat. Then I don't have to prepare any words anyway, so it makes it a lot easier for me. But I will give you a quick sort of kind of overview of where the school is currently. Obviously, we're excited about Jose de Jesus coming in as the head of school. Very pleased with that hire, and I think the school, everybody is excited by that transition. I hope some people are sad to see me go. Thank you for that. What a nice setup, right? And I suppose Laurie was here a little earlier before she went to Mathel. We're both sort of sad to leave as well. We think it's the right time, both for us and for the school. I think it's important for the school to move forward. This is, as many people know, this is our 18th year here. It's a long time for one person to be the head of school. And I recognize that, but I'm pretty proud of what we've achieved during that time. So I don't think I've overstayed my welcome, but I don't want to either. I think it's time for the school to move forward. And for myself, I'll be 65 this summer.
What?
I know. I'll be 65 this summer. I was born in the summer of 1954.
A whole Fireside chat just about that.
I know we can. Growing up in England in the late 50s and early 60s is a Fireside chat in its own. But I always sort of looked at it that this was going to be either last year or this year was going to be the year I was going to retire. So the plans worked out very well. I am, though, very proud of where the academy currently is. I look at the program we have through the academics. I'm still teaching. I'm teaching World History 1 to 9th graders. Do I have yes, we have some current, and we have some past parents of my students in World History 1 as well, so it's excellent. Still really enjoy it. I can sort of guarantee that our 9th grade, particularly World History 1 program, is a good course. I mean, we spent time on it, we've worked hard. And as a teacher of that course, it's fun to teach, but I really do believe that the academy is focused on content and skills in a really meaningful way. I'm also sort of been teaching the AP government class part-time this year as well, so I know some parents of students of that group. And again, teaching seniors and looking at their progression, because they do have some students in those sections who I taught World History 1 to. And so watching the progression over this past, over their 4-year time in the academy is really fun. And also as an educator, to be able to recognize that we're doing a really good job. Their skills being elevated, their interest, their academic inquiry, their ability to analyze at a high level. To be honest, their interest in global affairs. It makes me very proud as a head of school to have students like that here. So on that part, very, very happy. I continue to be pleased with how the academy also balances the academics with athletics, arts, service learning, etc. As many of you are aware, my wife Lauren, even though she turned 60 this year, she has turned 60, still coaching swimming, assistant coach of the girls and head coach of the boys, and some of you, seen her there in that field. And so, going to a few of the swim meets, also going to watch some of the other athletic events. I'm very proud of the fact that we provide an athletic program that allows students to compete at the highest level and prepare by college, performance college if they so wish. Also have a great deal of fun and learn sort of that whole the experience that should be there for high school athletics. And I think we do a good job there. I think in the arts, I watched the musical on Friday night. Again, I know there are some parents of performers that evening. It was a fun show. It wasn't just a fun show, it was a really good show. For a high school with 434 students to put on a show of that caliber was pretty neat. And the fact that the kids were having so much fun, the sound crew is our sound crew, the lighting is ours, the set design is ours. Right? I mean, this again really makes me feel very proud in terms of what we're doing here, what we're able to provide for the students. And all of the performances on, I know at least one person was there on Saturday night. We co-hosted with Shi Lin, the Chinese school, the Chinese New Year celebration. And we had a group of Lake Forest Academy students who took part in that. And they were outstanding. A couple of performances, whether both musical and dance. And again, I'm sitting there as the head of LFA, having said Happy New Year in Chinese, which I only learned totally phonetically. I actually don't really speak any Chinese, but I was told by my son how to say it, which was 新年 was it you? Oh, boy. 新年快乐. Am I correct? Well, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. As you can tell, now I've got to kind of remember what I tried to remember that night. I didn't know what to say. But I was really proud of the fact, one, of that collaboration. Two, the number of our students, Chinese and others, who were there, and a number of the students who were helping with the production of that event. Again, it just sort of, it's the pride in the institution and the pride in the students I have currently, which probably really kind of brings joy and makes me feel as though I've really achieved something. We are currently, I think, from an institutional standpoint, obviously spending a lot of time on the transition to Jose, and we have a transition committee chaired by Ned Jessen, long-time trustee, who's the chair of the finance committee, but other trustees and faculty, parents and others who are involved in that. I do think the Parents Association will be asked to be part of the ongoing welcoming of Jose, Andrew, his wife and family to the school this summer and into next fall. So I encourage everybody to help and be part of that. But the other big initiative is something which Patrick Rosilli, who's here, co-chair of Advancement Committee, who's here as a parent, Jim Cowett, class of 69 chair, and that's the Inspire and Invest initiative, which is raising endowment dollars to support faculty development, faculty chairs, and student scholarships. We've currently raised, I think, 8.2 million for this initiative. A lot of asks out there that are going on. We hope to raise 25 million or so in order to, again, help provide more support for the Academy in the areas of people. We've done a great job, I think, building buildings here over the last decade. The campus has been transformed. But now we also want to make sure we've got the support for faculty salaries, faculty development, and student scholarships. So that's something which is in the early stages, but it's started off well. Could be at over 8 million already in sort of wide phase. Feel very good about it. So overall, school's in great shape. Financially, we run balanced budgets. You'll be pleased to know we use every dollar wisely. So any of those gifts you give, all the tuition dollars, we're very grateful for. Everything that happens here, we try and use every dollar we possibly we have as carefully and well-intentioned as we possibly can. I feel very good about that. So with that, I will throw it open to questions. So,
Recently, we received a school email, maybe it was this weekly emails, I've forgotten, but it was promoting Spring Gal.
yeah.
And it made mention of what the funds were being raised for this year, and I wasn't quite clear on that one. If you please. Great question.
Okay,
Tell us
yeah,
more.
very good question. The gala this year, gala 19, is going to sort of link with a little bit of this Inspire and Invest initiative and raise funds for endowment. But specifically for an endowment which will provide support, scholarship support for students from North Chicago, Waukegan. We do have a lead donor who's set out some considerable funds to help start that endowment fund. And we will be looking at the gala to raise additional funds with the hope to get it to $1 million. So we'll have $1 million endowment fund for scholarships for qualified and great kids from the North Chicago Waukegan area. We do think, and this is strategic as well, that particularly given the connections between Lake Forest Academy and North Chicago through the Gordon Foundation and North Chicago Community Partners, and even historically Waukegan, this is an area we would love to be able to attract more students from and ensure that the families know that it's affordable for them to attend Lake Forest Academy. Obviously attracting the best and the brightest students in the school raises the bar for everybody, raises the quality of the students in the classroom, etc. And we feel it's particularly important for us to show that sort of support in the North Chicago communities. My hope is that one of those kids that are in A.J. Katzenmeyer's school, middle school, up in grade school in North Chicago, we're going to see one of those kids that we've been mentoring over the years be at that point where they're able to apply to and get into Lake Forest Academy and know they have the financial support to attend. And that I think would be, that would be just outstanding, right?
Yeah.
North Chicago is a tough community. I think anything we can do to support that.
Tutor in the NCC program, and there's some fantastic.
Yeah, that's some great case. And the fact that we have so many of our students to go up there and mentor and tutor, work with them on, obviously the Harvest Home Project and some of the others, but we have kids going up there, the Neil Science Academy, right, and others. So we think it's a really good course. It's one of the first times, probably the only time, we did do an endowment partial for a gala one year. We generally raise money to the gala for the bricks and mortar project or vans or something or other that we could present. We thought it was important this year to align it with the Inspire and Invest initiative. And to be honest, we had a donor that made it very attractive to do so. Great.
So as a follow-on to that, how is that going to be sort of laid out, like X number of dollars per year, X number of students per year, because it's an endowment fund?
Yeah, the idea will be, we would like to get to $1 million endowment. We take a 3.5% draw, so that would be $35,000 a year. Obviously, it doesn't cover the full line. We would hope it would continue to increase, though, as an endowment fund, whether through additional gifts or growth. But we'll probably have to work out what we can do. It'd be nice to have at least one student per year on that particular scholarship. We'll have to work out the details of it, but my thinking would be we will put one of the incoming freshmen on it and do that.
So full scholarship for one incoming freshman at least.
Yeah, and obviously the rest, the other, whatever necessary additional financial aid dollars will come back to general financial aid pool. But the fact that we could raise money to help us support those students from that community would be meaningful. It's additional financial aid dollars.
Association or parents of the community, and specifically how Jose and the current position?
Yeah, I think under the kind of transition plan, there is some responsibility given to the Parents Association and, to be honest, the Parents Association President and President-elect regarding sort of all helping with Rob Butler and the advancement team to organise, orchestrate different receptions through particularly the whole of the first year. Obviously there'll be some, I would think, in the later summer before school starts. There will be some local receptions, and I think some local sort of alumni. There'll probably be some alumni receptions in the area in order to introduce them as well. So I would say probably taking the lead from the advancement office and from the Parents Association presidents. That's how it's sort of set up. But certainly they will be asking for people whether to host or to be a part of or welcoming committee or the like.
You know, love LFA, big cheerleader all these years. We've been here a long time. So it's our 7th year. We just got our 8th year of contractual obligations. So in our 7-year plus now 30% increase in tuition, 3.5 again this year. Last year gave us a break, I know, 2.8%. This year back to 3.5. I get a little bit of the strub economics of it, but where do we see that sort of capping? Because we're now signed for a 15th year of tuition, 4th child, 15th year, potentially 5 more years. So again, we're an anomaly, I get that, but we know that the census data shows that we have a decline in high school population locally. So just kind of, I know you want to tee it up well for Jose, but those of us who have been here for a while and potentially have 5 more years, or 6 more years, or five. We kind of just, where do you see this? Because the board is so strategized and they love you, and I'm pretty sure that the majority of the board, said yes to this 3.5% increase again. So
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as a yes. I would characterize it as a very well thought out discussion regarding it. Obviously, the tuition that's set is based upon how do we afford to deliver the program, etc. that we need to do. We are going to, I think I put it in the letter, virtually all of the tuition increase is going to go towards faculty and staff compensation.
which we've been told the last few years.
Yeah, and to be honest, we're still trying to catch up.
To which percentage?
And that's above the 75th percentile. We're in a difficult position in some ways from a kind of financial model of LFA. I'll be honest, when I got here, I was shocked by the salaries. Now, I was coming from Andover, and therefore I recognized, I was probably the top bank school in the country, but I was shocked that the salaries were at a point where I think if people had known what they could be earning elsewhere, I think we would have seen a little bit more attrition quickly. So I tried to address it, and I think we did it early on. We obviously were fairly aggressive with tuition increases. We had to increase, and the tuition was relatively low compared to East Coast schools in particular. Of our type and caliber. So we were pretty aggressive with tuition increases. Obviously interest rates were higher, and different economic conditions, but and we continued to push that. Our tuitions were still below those of the East Coast schools, which we've got to recognize. And we recognize our market's a little bit different from the East Coast schools, but from the boarding standpoint, 50% of our population who are boarders, we should be, and our peer schools are those East Coast boarding schools. One of the things we've done is obviously raise the caliber of the school and the reputation of the school, so we're a top 20 boarding school in the country. You know, and I think that's sort of the general recognition. We happen to be the lowest endowment per pupil, top 20 boarding school in the
Always
country,
been the issue, yeah.
which is the issue. Hence the Inspire and Invest initiative to try and raise the endowment in order to help us in this area. We are a far more heavily tuition-dependent institution than almost any other of those sort of peer schools. Now, one thing we do have, which has really bridged the gap for us, and has kept tuition lower than it otherwise would have to be if we wanted to have the quality of facilities, product, program, right, has been the ancillary income. We are probably the highest ancillary income student in the country. That is the wedding business, the summer camps, ice rink rentals, whatever, you name it, we try and get some ancillary income in. Without compromising the mission of the school. But that has allowed us to keep, to some extent, the tuition still, below some of the tuition to those East Coast schools.
Yeah.
But it's, it's allowed us to be where, we think it can be. So we recognize and I don't want to put up tuition. Honestly, I know you don't believe it, but I don't want to put up it. But I've got to, if I'm going to give a real increase to faculty and staff, if we're going to make any meaningful sort of dent in this between really 65th percentile and say 90th percentile. It's hard. Schools with big endowments are able to do it more easily. They can raise funds more easily. So we're doing our best. We've been pretty patient about it. I do hope that everybody sort of recognizes that the dollars that we have raised through tuition and through gifts, we have used wisely. I mean, we've used it in faculty and staff compensation. We've also added programs. We've created, I think, a really good educational product here. Of interest on the macro level, maybe I'll play the educational economist here a little bit. One of the interesting things about what's happening in the economy around us is that everybody in this room is spending a higher percentage of your income on two products compared to where you used to be. Those two products are healthcare and education. This is not unexpected. Whereas goods which are manufactured can get the advantages of productivity growth, and therefore prices don't necessarily go up at the same rate. Education and healthcare are very labor-intensive and quality labor-intensive products. And so some of it, what's going on, is that we will be spending, I promise you this is going to happen and continue to happen, unless people decide I'm going to be operated on entirely by a robot, or I'm going to be diagnosed entirely by a machine, or I'm going to be educated totally online. Or unless we move to that, people will be spending higher and higher and higher percentages of their disposable income on those two products, which will mean you'll be spending less and less and less of your disposable income on cars and other manufactured goods. But those, of course, have come down in relative price. So it's an interesting phenomenon that people, to some extent, have to get at least some understanding of. And I'll give you just one indication that people are struggling with. One, some of the issues around private school tuition. But the biggest one, people unwilling to pay higher taxes in states in order to fund public education. So you have states like Kansas that went through its situation where it destroyed, to some extent, its public education system, because people weren't willing to agree to the tax rates which were needed to keep the education system operating. Now, the irony, of course, of all of this, sorry, okay, long answer, but you're getting some economics here, right? This is fun. Somewhat the irony, whatever it is, of this is that as the public are responding in that way, and so are opposed to tax rate increases needed to maintain the program of education in the public schools, that's leading to a decline in the quality of public education in this country, which is then leading to an increase in the demand for private. Is there,
Maybe not everywhere, you know, I mean, we have to look at.
almost everywhere. You look at
Yeah,
Lake,
you have to
you
sort
look at,
of look at the, you know,
Big-
20-mile radius.
oh yeah, look at Lake Forest High School. It is not as good a school as it was 20 years ago, in relative
Well,
terms.
they would probably argue that with you, I mean, I get their newsletter. They
They're
would
ranked,
argue
you see when
that.
they're ranked on the latest rankings? Like 150th in the state.
Well, you have Stevenson, you have Deerfield.
See, yeah, but what I'm saying is Lake Forest High School is one of the premier high schools in the state. It is not anymore. And part of that is some of the politics that have gone on. Stevenson has remained, I think Stevenson is right there in the top five. But it's, you know, this is where it is. Now the other part of it is, you know, it's the elasticity of the demand for education. It's an incredibly inelastic product. You know, people will pay for a quality education. Why? Because it's important. But we have to raise enough funds in order to maintain and keep our faculty whose opportunity cost of working here is pretty high. And that's something that, you know, we've just got to make sure we don't get into that position where we're losing the quality of faculty. We're not able to attract the quality of faculty we need to have the kind of the educational product. You know, it's a fascinating area. I get it, but you know, there's a lot of variables going on there that continue to demonstrate that yes, tuitions are going up, but you know, we haven't seen a decrease in demand. In fact, locally we've seen an increase in demand. So.
Well, yeah, people are casting, you know, the casting. That's part of it. You know, it's just, again, we're an anomaly, I get that. We have more kids, we've been here longer, we have history. But it's sometimes, you know, you're like, what are the metrics used to measure this, you know, quality of education? Because we're in the same classes we were in, you know, 7 years ago, right? So we have sort of our viewpoint, and again, we're actually the ones paying.
Yeah.
Versus the majority of board trustees aren't paying, and aren't paying year after year. You know, 15 years of tuition. So I think, you know, our viewpoint of that, and we do know sort of what's happening locally, right? I mean, we have to stay on top of that. We have to stay on top of real estate, but we're always like, what are the metrics? Again, great place. I'm a happy cheerleader all over town, like LFA family.
Yeah, we actually do have, we're the only school in the country actually has an educational outcome index. We try and measure the output. You know, I'm happy to say that, and you know, we share that with the board of trustees each year, and ours has gone up. And that's trying to get the metric we work with Hanover Research, which is an educational research group. And we're pretty pleased that we've targeted not just on educating, not just scores or APs or whatever, but even other aspects of the pillars, so character, citizenship, looking at the numbers of kids being involved, etc., etc. And pleased to say, you know, we've seen an uptick, and that's helped us. But you know, from a business standpoint, as such, a not-for-profit business, you know, one of the things I've got to ensure is that we're attracting and retaining quality of faculty that we need to do in order to provide the product we have. So that's why I have to do this.
I don't know if you've read in the past, when you leave, or there are some people that are so terribly bummed that they decide not to stay.
No, I think they might be going to be. No, I don't think so. You know, to be honest, I think one of the biggest losses you're going to see is, you lose the swim coach, BC count teacher, AP 80, who's pretty good. And so, you know, Lauren's going to be hard to fill. You know, she's a quality faculty member that isn't going to be easy to replace. I'm trying to get my daughter to apply, but sadly she decided she didn't want to follow in the footsteps of her mother, so she's going to be teaching out east. Though that also did give you an indication of what they're paying first-year teachers at schools in Boston. So we've got to be competitive for that. But no, I don't get the sense. I think people understand, and we announced very early in terms of departure. At present, I know of only one opening for next year, and that's in math. Now that might change, but certainly we've not seen that. I think in some fact we might be excited about the change and get rid of that British economist guy. And I think they feel comfortable and confident, Jose, and in the board of trustees, in terms of their leadership, and things will be good. And we're in good shape. I think the faculty do appreciate the fact that I forecaller with the board. We've been saying for the benefits, I for the salaries. No, I'm bored with this. No, I think we're in a good place. Yeah.
So my question surrounds international recruitment.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, and this is just my point of view, I see a lot of outreach to places like Asia, which is a good thing, but I don't see any outreach to Africa to recruit students from Africa. So when I asked that question to someone, they said, well, because they have to pay for everything, and with previously they were saying we were poor and we couldn't afford it, and if they do
Who
recruit
was
us,
that?
sorry?
Who was that?
I don't want to say that. Sorry. So
I don't think it'd be a member of the admissions team or.
no, not a member of the admissions team. But basically what they were saying is that the Africans that have come here, they've had to give them a full ride. And,
No.
but that was what I was.
I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
No, that's untrue. Yeah, we do go and recruit in different countries in the continent of Africa. We have a great connection with Seeds Academy in Senegal. Tends to be basketball players who tend to be very tall and very good, both male and female. But that's been pretty good for us. We've also had students come from Nigeria, from South Africa, and same with all international students. We're looking for quality applicants than anything else. We provide financial aid for international students, but it's based upon, again, we're looking at a little bit of quality, etc. But we also have, we go to Africa.
Okay. But when I've been on the website and I've seen the admissions counselors and where they're going, I've seen a lot of trips to Asia and parts of the United States, but I haven't seen any to Africa or any part of Africa.
Yeah, certainly I think Carl Coombs went over to Senegal, I believe, recently. Not that long ago, anyway. We recruit all over the world through various agents and the like. I would say probably more students come through agents coming out of Africa than some of the other countries. We don't do that in China. We're not going to pay the agents in China. We don't need to. Russia and Eastern Europe, a big, kind of growing market for American schools. We kind of do a bit of both. Turkey, again, a bit of both. We've tried to get into India, but it's been very difficult. Most of those students will look at British schools rather than more East Coast schools, not really looking at the Midwest. To be honest, some of the African countries, because of ties to Britain, will be more likely to go to a British school than come to an American school. So that's something which we always have to get over. Say we probably have stronger ties with French-speaking African countries than we do with English-speaking, partly because of that. But certainly there's no, we like students from, we've had a number of students from different countries now, North Africa, all the way through.
Question about your salaries. I don't feel the right person to ask this, but Josh loves drama, but he's really this year he really wanted to do 6 core courses and he wanted to do drama as a 7th course. I know a lot of kids do orchestra as a 7th course, but he was told he couldn't do it. And I don't really understand why kids will be allowed to do drama, orchestra, but not allowed to do a different art subject as a 7th course.
It's a great question, and it actually came up at, I believe it came up at academic council, it certainly came up at Dean's Council in terms of the arts program, and so maybe some inconsistencies about which courses you can take as a 7th course. Choir and orchestra are 2 courses where we do allow it to be as a 7th class. I think it's because they're ensemble classes, not, it's fundamentally the practices in order to get ready for performances, whereas drama was more individual and therefore it's going to take more time. The idea of the restriction is to try to protect the student. I know Chris Tennyson is questioning kind of the consistency of that as we're looking at the academic requirements of the school. The arts department would like to increase the arts requirement. The requirement currently is, I think, 1.5 or 3 semesters. They would like to move it to 4 semesters, which I think most of us all agree. But we're not certain how the math will work unless people are allowed to take it as a 7. So that discussion is a little bit ongoing because it has been raised a couple of times. I would hope we might have something in place for next year, but it is somewhat complicated because, as I think everybody understands, when you have academic requirements, you make a change in one area and it has some knock-on effects which you've got to be careful about. We've also talked about whether courses should go pass-fail or pass-fail honours for that 7th class rather than with a grade, and I think that might be one of the ways we will get through it. It's interesting. Colleges like to see arts on the student's transcript, but then they discount the grade that the student gets in art unless they're an art major. So unless it's something which fits into the program. But at the same time, they want to see arts on the program. They want to see the student do well. So perhaps a pass-fail honours might solve that, and that might then allow us to move to that as a 7th class. It's not the same.
And then that would be great too, because if you want to introduce more support, then
Yeah.
you can do that.
Yeah.
And then still do the hard floor of the 6th classes.
Yeah, because some of the kids get around it by taking independent study. Because you can take independent study as a 7th class. But a standard course, you can't really do that because the course is offered. So it's one of those classic academic, you look at it and go, complex, we can sort this out. We will. Yeah.
Do you keep a close eye on kind of the latest trends of what's going on with some of the other peer schools in terms of the sciences and engineering and, making sure that the kids are, if they have the aptitude, of course, but they can avail themselves to that level of learning, where all the trends are going, the economy is going and so forth. Are we staying current and competitive?
I would say we are staying current and competitive. We are pretty aware. We're very fortunate that we have a science centre building and science faculty that have a pretty high range in terms of the level of program that they can teach. We obviously have students taking college level biochem research. We are looking at, we've already expanded the computer science program, which actually comes under math, but we've expanded it this year. It's likely that will be maybe sort of changed a little bit and expanded a bit more into the next year. And certainly going forward, we recognise that coding, computer science generally is something which almost, all students going into college now, if they've got more training in that, they're going to get an advantage. We're also looking at ways to bring coding into other classes as well, along those lines. We are looking, this is part of the science, the science department will be looking at requiring the students take at least one life science as well as the physical science piece. So we've seen there's been an increase in kids taking physics 9 class, then chemistry, and then maybe doubling up again in chemistry or physics, never taking biology. And part of that is because most of the students take biology in 8th grade, and so they've already kind of done it. But at the same time, we would like to see them at that higher level of biology. Now that's going to lead to looking at, well, do we think about two different routes in science, one being physics as a 9th grader, to chemistry, to biology, but not maybe allowing this double chemistry that some of the kids do, or going biology, chemistry, physics, but biochem in there as well somewhere. So I think we have, we're looking at it, and I think we have the courses. We also seem to have the interest. We have more students now than ever doubling up in science, some actually tripling up in science. And we recognize that.
Well, I would imagine those are capital projects too, to stay current with technology.
Yeah, but we're pretty good in terms of the building we have. We might have certain labs, etc. We need to make sure we've got, but Kerry Stephen, Ruth Smith, Ed Shaughnessy, who are the kind of the chem, bio and physics teachers, are pretty up on this. Ruth and Kerry were both research scientists before they came into education. So that gives us a pretty good leg up in terms of some of the work that's being done. I would say I put a particular emphasis on how can we make sure robotics, computer science is brought into this, maybe engineering, we have an engineering class, but because that can be an area which will improve or increase. Now, the only trouble is, of course, you increase in that science and math area, we want to make sure that our students continue to take the liberal arts, particularly history, government, but also foreign language. And one of the interesting things is that, foreign language generally around the country has become less demanded. It seems to be less important than it once was. And I think, sadly, part of the culture of the country at the moment is that it doesn't help, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm a big fan of, even though I was awful at French. Growing up in Britain, we were forced to take French for 5 years. I was forced to take Latin for 5 years as well. I love Latin. Latin I thought was relatively easy, very mathematical. French I hated. Or maybe it was the French teacher I hated. But one of the things we are seeing are students who, to be honest, aren't coming in necessarily that strong in language either. So I would say the middle schools generally probably becoming a little bit weaker in the local areas. We obviously have a number of our students who are bilingual when they come in, but they tend to be international students, not American students. And that's an interesting, I think, something that Jose and the school is going to be looking at over this next decade, is some of the changes in where the curriculum is going.
You don't want too much specialization.
I think at a high school, generally, no. I will say that having gone to high school in Britain, where we did specialise for the last 2 years, students still do, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But at the same time, we've done such a range of classes up through age 16 that it's a little different. But personally, I think the American model of having a broader education in high school is a good one. I think it leads to better writers, better thinkers, a broader knowledge. As long as you have the flexibility once you get really into your last year or the last 2 years, to start to specialise a little bit, prepare yourself for college. Final question here. We're almost 8 o'clock. Which I don't know if it's the final time, but I need to get back to my beers.
So, I think a lot of what you touched on is just kids taking more classes. Do you have any statistics on how many kids are taking 6 courses nowadays?
We do.
What was that? Has it increased?
It has. Chris Tennyson, dean of students, academic affairs, assistant head of school, etc. The guy that really is in charge of all of this. But we, as we have been looking at, he's in charge with coming up with One, what are some of the statistics from other boarding schools around the country, kind of top 20, and also looking at our trends. So he has been looking at the number of students taking, doubling up, tripling up in science, taking, how many are taking 5, how many are taking 6, how many are taking 7, and the numbers have increased. When I got here in 2001, almost all students took 5 classes. There might be some taking choir or orchestra as a 6th course, but the majority of students were, it was a 5-course load. I would say 10 years ago, it probably moved to, I don't know if it would be 50-50 by that time, but a significant number were taking 6. Now we have, I think it's almost a third, 5, 6, 7. Now, what that also does, and this comes back actually to the tuition question, whatever. One of the interesting things is that, of course, as students take more classes, sadly, we need more faculty, unless you're going to increase the class size. Makes sense, right? Because we have to, it's the seats at the table in the class. And so that has led us to have to hire an additional, not just an additional math teacher, an additional science teacher, and an additional English teacher, even though our numbers didn't change. But because of people doubling up, and it's, it has, now that allows more flexibility, which is great. I think it's our responsibility as the adults in the room to make sure students don't overstretch. Always my worry. And put themselves in a position where they're trying to do too much. Not just in the classroom, but in all other areas, because I know you guys are all fabulous parents, but there is a tendency in this country at the moment for parents to put a little bit of pressure on their children to do other things in order to be that well-rounded young adult as they apply to college. We all have to play a good role there in making sure that students are taking care of themselves. We try. I would say the Lake Forest Academy parents try very well as well compared to some other institutions. But it's something for us to be aware of. The norm has changed. And the course has happened. In fact, if anything, it's become harder. So, it's interesting, they go off to college and you take 4 classes.
Great about each
They
one.
fail because they don't know what to do with all that time.
And some of them struggle with all that time. I was chatting to my youngest Ian, who many of you know, he's a little bit of a character. So a very good soccer player, but and academically, he's okay. But I was talking about trying to get him, his flight back for one of the trips. And I said, well, I'll get it, how long does it take to get from Brunswick down to Portland? So I'll get you a late flight on Friday. And he goes, oh, I don't have any classes on Friday. I went, okay. So you have a 4-day work week? And he said, I don't really have anything on Monday either. I need to go back to college. This is crazy. And then he said, what am I paying? Then what am I paying the tuition for? I mean, at least here, they're in class 5 days a week. Get something for it. And people actually return your calls when you ask the administration for information. I hope they do. Okay, so many thanks for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope it's been entertaining and fun. Please stay around. We've still got some more on special pen. There's some nice desserts on the table and good conversation. If anybody wants any other questions, please feel free. So thank you.